The morning was calm, the kind of quiet you dream about when you move to the suburbs. Birds chirped, the sun peeked through the pines, and I was sipping coffee on my porch, savoring my new life in Willow Creek. Then came the screech of tires, like a needle scratching a record. A black SUV skidded to a stop at the edge of my 5-acre property, and out stormed a woman, her red heels clicking like gunfire. Her sleek ponytail swung as she marched toward the cedar fence I'd just finished building. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she bellowed, her voice sharp enough to scare the sparrows from the trees. Her name, I'd soon learn, was Vanessa Hartley, president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, and she was about to make my life a leave-vying nightmare. I stood my ground, tool belt still around my waist, clutching my property deed like a shield. "Good morning to you too," I said, keeping my tone even. "This is my land, according to the county records. Always has been." I held out the deed, but Vanessa didn't even glance at it. Her eyes blazed behind her designer sunglasses, perched on her head like a tiara. "This trail's been here for 15 years, she spat. "It's community property, and you're tearing it apart. I'm calling an emergency HOA meeting. This fence comes down today, or you're looking at fines you can't imagine." She was already tapping furiously at her phone, her manicured nails clicking like a countdown. I pointed to the "No Trespassing" sign I'd bolted to the fence. "I know exactly how private property works, and I'd appreciate it if you'd stop trespassing on mine." Vanessa froze, her face twisting like I just slapped her. "You have no idea who you're messing with," she hissed, before storming back to her SUV and peeling out, leave-vying a cloud of dust and a sinking feeling in my gut. I drove the last nail into the fence with a little extra force, knowing this was only the beginning. 3 months earlier, I'd moved to Willow Creek, chasing peace after years in the city. The property was a dream. 5 acres backing up to a forest, a stream curling through the far corner like a secret. The real estate agent mentioned an HOA, but my lot sat on the edge of the development, so I figured I'd fly under their radar. The previous owner, a nervous guy named Carl, had mumbled something about neighbors occasionally crossing the back of the land. "No big deal," he'd said, but his eyes darted away. I should have caught the warning in his haste to close the deal, or his odd parting words. Good luck with the neighbors. Some are particular. The first 2 weeks were bliss. I unpacked, set up my home office with a VYEW of the woods, and sketched plans for a deck by the stream, where I could work to the sound of water and birdsong. But by week 3, the intrusion started. One crisp Saturday, a jogger cut across my backyard, passing so close I could smell his sweat. Then a couple with a Labrador strolled through, the dog sniffing my legs before they waved casually like it was normal. By day's end, I counted 17 people, joggers, families, even a mountain biker trumping across my land. A worn path snaked from one side of my property to the other, hidden from the house by a rise and some sneaky shrubs. I now suspected Carl had planted to mask it. I checked my property maps and confirmed the truth. This was my land, no easements, no rights of way. The trail linked the sub-VY Shown to a park half a mile away, VYing residents a 15-minute detour. Carl must have let people cross to avoid trouble, and now the neighbors treated it like a public highway. I watched the traffic for a day, snapping photos as dog walkers let their pets poop on my grass, kids picked my wildflowers, and one group even picnicked leave-vying wrappers behind. When I called my agent, her silence screamed guilt. Buried in the disclosure was a single line. Neighbors may occasionally traverse the southern portion. Occasionally? This was a parade. I tried diplomacy first. I posted polite signs asking people to respect private property. They vanished overnight. I stood outside, gently telling passersby they were on my land. Some apologized, but others, like a smug guy I later learned was Vanessa's husband, laughed. "Good luck, newbie." I mapped an alternative route to the park, just 3 minutes longer, and offered to clear brush and fun signage if the HOA cooperated. I printed maps, posted them in weatherproof sleeves, and wrote a note explaining my position. Within hours, they were gone, replaced by a crumpled note in my mailbox. Not happening. The handwriting matched Vanessa's signature on HOA documents. I went door to door, hoping to win allies. Some neighbors were shocked. Vanessa told us it was a community trail, said an elderly couple. Others admitted they'd suspected the truth but feared crossing her. At an HOA meeting, I presented my case, but Vanessa cut me off. That path's a neighborhood tradition, she declared, her voice dripping with authority. People move here for it. When I mentioned property rights, she moved to the next agenda item, dismissing me like a child. An older resident, George, caught me outside. Vanessa made that trail her pet project 8 years ago, he whispered. She told everyone it was official. The last owner gave up after she turned the neighborhood against his kids. Vanessa's retaliation was swift. The HOA's architectural re-VYEW committee her and 2 cronies scheduled an emergency inspection. Violation notices piled up. My mailbox was 2 inches too low, my grass a fraction too long, my deck stained slightly off color. One claimed my house numbers cause excessive glare, despite my home being hidden behind oaks. Another cited unauthorized vegetation for a wildflower garden the HOA's own guidelines encouraged. Unmarked HOA vehicles cruised by daily, and I caught a guy measuring my hedges, claiming to be from a non-existent landscaping compliance committee. The harassment turned personal. Invitations to neighborhood events stopped. Parents hustled their kids away when I passed. Deliveries went astray. Vanessa posted in the neighborhood Facebook group, painting me as a selfish outsider destroying tradition. Comments escalated from complaints to threats. Make him regret VYing here. She fueled the fire, spreading lies that I'd caused trouble in my old neighborhood and planned to turn my land into rentals. Someone posted my phone number and email, urging people to let him know how we feel. My phone buzzed with anonymous calls from silent, others with muffled laughter. One, from a blocked number, chilled me. Cameras can't watch everything. Fences fall. Houses burn. Think about it. The voice sounded like Vanessa's husband. I hired a lawyer, Emily, who confirmed my rights. I had a surveyor mark my boundaries and built a 6-foot cedar fence across the trail, complete with a locked gate and no trespassing signs. For one glorious night, my property felt mine. Then Vanessa's SUV roared back, and by afternoon, the HOA called an emergency meeting to discuss my unapproved structure. I prepare my defense, digging into HOA bylaws and county records. The meeting was a circus, the clubhouse packed with neighbors split into camps. Vanessa, in a corporate blazer, banged her gavel like a judge. "This newcomer's blocking our park trail," she said, her voice icy. I presented my deed, survey, and bylaws. Pro-VYing the trail was on my land with no easement. The fence isn't VY-sible from the street, so it's exempt from HOA rules, I said. A real estate attorney in the crowd backed me up, but Vanessa smirked. "We'll see what the county says. Meanwhile, we're re-VYing your property for VY-olations." Whispers followed me out. A former board member warned, "Vanessa once had someone's roses ripped out over a fake rule." Another said, "She's ruled by fear for years." The VY-olations kept coming, each more absurd. My garbage bins were improperly placed, though they matched my neighbors. Vanessa's allies prowled my property, and my cameras caught a board member eyeing my fence for accidental damage. One night, someone tried breaking the gate's lock, stopped only by my motion lights. Graffiti appeared, public right-of-way. Then Vanessa filed a county complaint, claiming my fence lacked permits and harmed wetlands. The inspector, Richard, a grizzled planner, proved her wrong. "Your fence is legal," he said, then dug deeper. The trail was proposed 15 years ago, but scrapped for environmental reasons. It was never official. He found records of Carl's complaints, buried under HOA pressure. "You're the first to stand firm," he said, snapping photos of the vandalism and my stack of violation notices. I went on the offensive. Emily drafted a cease and desist letter to Vanessa and the HOA, citing harassment, defamation, and vandalism. We filed complaints with the state HOA board and sheriff, and prepared a lawsuit for emotional distress. I sent every neighbor a letter with county records, clarifying my rights and offering Emily's contact for complaints. The harassment paused, but the tension simmered. Then my cameras caught a board member slipping an envelope under my door. Not everyone agrees with Vanessa. Special meeting Thursday. Be there. The meeting was electric, the room overflowing. An audit had uncovered Vanessa's dirty secrets. Dula $20,000 for path maintenance, built her a patio. Dula $15,000 for security, went to her allies' homes. The reserve fund had shrunk 60 fan tram, funneled to her brother-in-law's landscaping firm. Neighbors gasped as spreadsheets lit up the screen. An elderly woman shared how Vanessa fined her sick husband over yard work. Vanessa's allies abandoned her, and a no-confidence vote ousted her. She pointed at me, trembling. This is his fault. George stood. No, Vanessa. You treated this place like your kingdom. You just gave us courage. The neighborhood transformed. The new board, led by Thomas, a retired principal, scrapped my violations and apologized. They held open forums, posted budgets, and swapped fines for teamwork. When a widow's lawn grew wild, neighbors mowed it. When a family shutters faded, the HOA found paint and volunteers. A committee planned a new trail along my property's edge, not through it. I agreed, even planting shrubs along it. Neighbors brought apologies and wine, admitting they'd fear Vanessa's wrath. One, a former critic, said, "You didn't just fix a trail. You saved our community." Vanessa's house went up for sale, and she left for a better neighborhood. The new trail opened, properly marked, and I worked alongside neighbors to plant flowers. One evening, a family stopped by. "You're the fence guy," the dad said, smiling. "The kids love the butterflies on your flowers." His wife added, "We moved in after the drama, but everyone says it's better now." As they walked on, I looked at my fence, strong and quiet, not DVY-ding, but defining. By standing my ground, I'd helped Willow Creek rediscover respect, pro-VYing that good fences and a little courage really do make good neighbors. So what do you think? Was I right to block the trail, or should I have let it slide for peace? Could the community have stood up to Vanessa without my fight? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just playgrounds for bullies like Vanessa? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you felt the drama, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you glued.